down, 2 to go. Obviously, skin diseases are fairly common. We've all had it. Skin protected by perspiration, which gives you again your acid pH between 4 and 5. I just say 4.5. And the acidity denatures the protein coat of some bacteria, like gram-positive. Perspiration also contains lysozyme, an antibacterial protease, and salt. We haven't talked about that part of it yet. We've surely talked about hypertonic, hypotonic. But in this case, the salt on our skin, it is there for reasons other than making our dogs happy. The salt is also antibacterial because it creates a hypertonic environment. Now, what happens to cells in a hypertonic environment? Shrink. Exactly, they shrink. The water goes out, and what's that called? The shrinkage. Crenation. It's crenation, yeah. It's crenation, which is the water going out, the shrinkage of the cell in hypertonic conditions. But for bacterial cells, what's it called?
Pronation.
Plasmolysis. You guys are okay. You're ready for that test next week. So plasmolysis. So that's the kind of stuff you might get for your cumulative questions. But anyway, yeah. So it creates plasmolysis. The cell shrinks, but the cell wall does not shrink. So it kills the bacteria. So again, all of this is antibacterial to some extent. Now, Staphylococcus, streptococcus, and the proper plural is cocci, but I don't care. Staphylococcus, streptococcus, particularly guilty for skin diseases. Very, very common. Staphylococcus is divided into coagulase positive and coagulase negative. So the ones that do produce coagulase, the ones that do not. I can't remember what I said. Yeah, we talked about this last time. Coagulase does this really weird type thing. It causes blood clots. The fibrin is what actually makes the clot. The coagulase causes blood clots, and then the bacteria hides in the blood clot. So the macrophages can't find it.
Then what comes in to break the...
Anybody remember that? What helps break down those blood clots?
Okay.
Pardon me?
That's not right.
I can't hear you.
Vitamin K.
Wrong. Nope. So vitamin K actually helps make blood clots, is what you're thinking of. Anybody remember who's not looking it up right now? Go ahead. Huh? Yes, it is. Kinase.
Oh, okay.
Did you look it up? Kinase, exactly. Remember I was saying that kinase, of course, normally transfers phosphate groups. But in this case, it breaks down the clot. And then the macrophages come in and do their work. It's an odd thing. The coagulase negative strains are 90% of all bacteria. So obviously, most bacteria do not do this. And only 10% of bacteria can make coagulase.
So in the notes where it says coagulase clots fibrin in the blood and prevents the isolation of bacteria, do you mean and promotes the isolation of bacteria?
No, I have enhances. What did my notes say?
Prevents.
Really?
Maybe the
Goodness. How can that be different than what I got? You're right, though. It is
Also
different.
here,
Yeah, it should be enhanced. Oh my God.
Yeah, number 3 is wrong.
3 to 5, and you not say 4 to 5.
Two mistakes. I wasn't even aware of it. So right up under disease of the skin. Yeah, right there. It should be 4. I guess in my notes I have 3. Thank you.
Yeah, you do have 3.
Yeah, so please change that to 4. I was not aware of that. So that's a mistake. And then
You have some.
this should be what I got there. Enhances, not prevents.
You also have this. in your
Another
notes,
one too? What?
Yeah, I have this from last time. It's not in your notes though. I printed this off yesterday.
Oh, I must have gotten rid of that then.
Yes. So get rid of it.
Sebum, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I must have, jeez.
Are we not worried about the sebum?
No,
Oh,
I must have gotten rid of it for unknown reasons.
Okay,
mostly because I didn't care about it.
so we don't need this one either?
Yeah, so just get rid of the sebum,
Okay.
change the 3 to 4, and prevent should be enhanced. I need to go redo my notes. I already redid my notes, I didn't redo the website notes. Thank you for telling me, because I don't know that unless somebody tells me.
Enhance.
So anyhow, thanks for bringing that up. Okay, so anyhow, 90% of the bacteria do not decoagulate, so clearly then 10% do. Staph epidermidis, the name itself pretty much tells you where it is. Most common species on the skin, both Staphylococcus and Streptococcus are gram-positive. Staph aureus, the most pathogenic, and there's one strain of no known cure, it's MRSA. The school discouraged me from using that in the class. I don't know why, but they didn't want me to do stuff that had no cure. By the way, in case you ever were to get MRSA, yeah, there's no cure right now, but it does not necessarily mean you're gonna die. Because I actually know a couple people who had MRSA, and they were sick for a while, no doubt, but they both recovered. So apparently, there's no medicine, but the immune system is apparently able, maybe, to cure itself. Better not to get it, of course. All Staphylococcus aureus is coagulase positive. Now, please read what I have there. It's not all Staphylococcus. It's all Staph aureus. That's coagulase positive. Some Staphylococcus is coagulase negative. Staph aureus is coagulase positive. So once again, the fibrin clot, the blood clots, protect the bacteria from the immune system, meaning the macrophages. And kinase comes in, gets rid of the blood clots. Once that occurs, macrophages come swarming in. Staph aureus, particularly dangerous in hospitals. I know many of you already work in clinics and hospitals, getting some experience. So you're probably already aware of that. Patients can pass on the infection, but more than that, because Staph aureus is commonly found in hospital environments, they become resistant to many antibiotics because they're exposed to it all the time. So many of the bacteria will die, but some of them, inevitably some are resistant. And then they reproduce and produce new bacteria, more bacteria that are resistant. And after a while, you get a superbug. That's how it happens. So yeah, Staph aureus is particularly difficult to get rid of because of this.
What does it cost though?
Well, styes, a stye is like an eye infection. Styes and boils.
Are these just causes of Staph aureus or MRSA?
Staph aureus.
Okay.
MRSA does more than that.
Yeah.
And also, Staph aureus can be more dangerous by head appearance. Well, it can also go internal and cause more damage. But this would be typical. So irritating, but not really terrible. Now you have toxic shock syndrome. Toxic shock syndrome is when you get the infection in your blood and it passes all through your bloodstream. Now your blood circulates in 1 minute, all through your body. So basically whatever's going on can be spread within a minute. Example here, tampons. I know there are many different types of these sanitary napkin things, but most guys, I just call them all tampons. But I know there are different types. And what I'm really referring to with this one, I remember this, now it's about 25 years ago. You guys weren't born yet, but I was. And some new tampon came on the market, and again, it was probably something else, but whatever. But something new came on the market, so a bunch of women tried it, and several of them died. They didn't just get sick, they died from a tampon. And it turns out that they were allergic to something out in the tampon. And obviously these things have been tested, everything is, but they clearly did not cover everything in the tampon. You don't use it unless you're menstruating. Blood flow carried the thing all over the body within 1 minute, within 60 seconds. So essentially, they had an allergic reaction over their entire body within a minute. So they died, literally. So needless to say, that was taken off the market really quickly. But that's always been the example of toxic shock syndrome. There are others. For example, there's some people are allergic to bees, bee stings. Nobody likes being stung by a bee, but most bloodstream all over the body within a minute. The actual location, just the throat, but would have been all over his body. Streptococcus, also gram-positive. They both are. Staphylococcus, Streptococcus. Many are in the mouth, the GI tract, respiratory tract. So again, mucous membranes here, really. Some produce hemolysins. Hemolysins produced by gram-positive. These are exotoxins. Exotoxins. They damage red blood cells. That's why sometimes when we're sick, we're also tired. Low energy, our red cells are being destroyed. Oh, thought I had more. I guess I wasn't too interested in this. Viral diseases, warts, are actually benign tumors. They're caused by the papillomavirus. Papillomavirus. Papillomavirus actually has another fame, if you will. Where else do we find papillomavirus? HPV, but more precise, what does it cause? Cervical cancer. It causes cervical cancer. It's become famous, if you will, because now there's a vaccine for it, for cervical cancer. And some parents refuse to use it because up until now, it's mostly been given to little girls. And these parents are afraid if they give their little girls the vaccine for this, that will encourage them to go out and have sex with everybody under the sun. To go find the nearest football team, go have sex. Well, of course, that's just ludicrous beyond belief, but there are people who think that way. So they have not given their little girls the vaccine, and some, of course, have ended up with cervical cancer. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's where you've also heard of that. In this case, it's just causing warts, transmitted by personal contact. That does not mean sex. I guess it could, but it really just means just touching somebody, shaking hands. Do it. So really, the next time you see somebody with bumpy hands, wave to them. Because it's it could spread to you. It could spread.
You really just say that.
Okay, last one. I've got to get everything in. Smallpox. Most of us, I would say all of us, have never seen smallpox. It's almost been wiped from the face of the earth. I think there's a couple of small pockets somewhere in the world, but mostly it's gone. But during the Middle Ages, it was a terrible disease. 80% of the population contracted smallpox. Now, if you had smallpox, the best you could hope for would be you would survive with your face disfigured, pockmarked and disfigured. That's the best you could get. If it went internal, then you died. So you either had a choice of getting smallpox or getting bubonic plague. The Middle Ages were not a good time to be around. Caused by the variola virus. And it is respiratory, and like I was commenting, if it goes internal, then it hits the internal organs, and that will kill.
So what do you mean if you just get it externally?
Then your face, your skin just gets eaten up, basically. It's disfigured.
So the virus is just like, let me just adhere to your face and just eat it
It's
alive?
kind of like flesh eating, yeah. Yeah. No, smallpox was a terrible disease. And now it's gone, pretty much. It's gone. Medicine has done a few good things. Chickenpox. Most common infectious disease, bacterial infection, or viral. Most common viral infectious disease after gonorrhea. So if your little kid ever had chickenpox, we'd just be happy it wasn't gonorrhea. Now these days actually, people don't get chickenpox anymore. We have vaccines for chicken pox and measles. But in my day, everybody got it. And, both of these. So there'd be times in my grade school, half the kids would be got it, because everybody was sick. Good news was, you only got it once, and then done. So, it is respiratory. The skin fills with vesicles, little old sacs, filled with pus. These sacs would rupture, form scabs. Lesions that are open sores would form on the chest, on the back, on the face. Kids would be screaming like mad for a whole week. You've all heard the phrase, a face that only a mother could love. Well, that would be this. Because there would be a week where the kid was just miserable, and that, of course, would make the whole family miserable. And then it goes away. So it really was never terrible, it just wasn't fun. Again, these days, it's really not common. Although it's probably coming back, because again, you're reading about parents who are against vaccinations. There's some really stupid people out there. Okay, what else do I have? Herpes. This is not what you're thinking of. Herpes simplex, 90% of us, that means most of us, have it. And we get it in infancy, before you've even done anything. This is what gives cold sores and fever sores. And it's something people get, and of course nothing terrible goes away. That's herpes simplex. The one you are thinking of is this one, herpes simplex virus 2. This is sexual herpes. And it is, of course, transmitted by sexual contact. This actually, it's not something you want, obviously. It's not, though, something terrible. I've actually known quite a few people who have this. They're always good enough to tell me that they have it. But basically, most of the time it's dormant. Most of the time it's not doing anything. And during those times, the person can live a perfectly normal life, do everything they want and all that. On occasion, it erupts. It wakes up, it does stuff, becomes active, and then you get these open sores. At that time, you kind of put a Band-Aid on it, you cover it up, and then you do refrain from contact. You don't talk, you don't touch anybody. And then you wait for it to go away. And usually in a couple of weeks or so, it goes away, and essentially then you're back to normal for a few more years. So, like I said, it's not something you want to have, but